In tonight's Good Question, it comes from a viewer who has a question about a charge that's becoming more common.
For today's Good Question, Fleming asks, why do businesses charge a fee when you pay with a credit card or debit card? Seems like we as consumers are paying more. Well, you may be, but they're charging more because of the processing fees for accepting those payments. Forbes says the average credit card processing fee ranges between 1.5 to 3.5%. Businesses really have three options if they accept credit cards. They can pay the fee themselves, eating the cost. They can raise their prices, or they can have their customers pay them. Some states have made it illegal for businesses to make their customers pay for surcharges and convenience fees. Kentucky is not one of them. You may also see some businesses impose a minimum purchase required if you're using a credit card, and some businesses may not take them at all. That is also legal. If you have a good question, you can email goodquestion@wkyt.com, and I'll see you on WKYT Mornings.